What's up, guys? So if you saw the last video or the short from like a couple weeks back, my detent finally broke in my Gen 2 HDP50, and I'm gonna blame it on the rubber steel balls because they've always been trash, kind of oversized. And when stuff, this is my Gen 1 detents, when you got stuff that causes friction with rubber parts and they're flying out a barrel going 400 feet per second or whatever, it's not going to be good for something. So I'm just going to try to quickly just muscle through this. I got my watch kit over here for fixing watches and stuff. You can easily just use like a hole punch and a hammer. But there's nothing in this currently, no ammo, no CO2, no nothing, just empty. 0 ammos in there. Can't hold any anyways. So the way mine was from the factory, I had to push the pins out with the barrel facing to the right because there's a bird end on the back of all these. That is on the bottom side. So the Gen 2 has 4 pins. There's 2 here, there's 1 on the trigger guard, and there's 1 on the front rail. The trigger guard one is usually, for me, the easiest one to knock out. Like, it's super easy to knock out. And I'm just trying to pull these out. So there's 1, 2, 3. The Gen 1s have one, I think, down here, a pin. The last one is right here. So I'm just gonna knock this guy out. So that is out. Pull that one out, and you get to pull your slide up, slide it forward, take your spring out. I'm still kind of thinking of dyeing this one, this slide. I don't know what color I'm gonna go with. It may depend on what I decide to color my saber. I may not have mentioned this in the beginning, but the reason I'm opening this up is because my detent, I think I already mentioned that, the detent broke. So I'm just gonna take this apart really quickly. There's 8, I think there's 8 Phillips head screws right here on the inside. I have to get to this part right here on the inside of the shell. So this will just take a second. You may want to just fast forward or whatever. I could pause it too, but just in case anyone's not familiar with where the screws are on this, here is a reference for you. But there's tons of videos. Sorry, my hand was in the way the whole time. There's tons of videos on changing stuff out in the HDP50. I am not the first guy to do this. There's probably 4 or 5 years of videos on how to do things to this before I even started making any sort of content for YouTube. So I think there's one, yeah, one up here. So there's 4 on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 1 here, 1 right here, 1 right here, and 1 right here. So there's 8 total. All the pressure of these 2 sides is resting on this pin right here. So you can see that the top part of the pin, all the like resistance to opening is mainly from that not wanting to come loose. Once you open your HDP50 2, 3, 4 times, it becomes really easy to separate the 2 halves. There is a spring in here. There's a couple little springs in here, but I'm not going to be messing with those for the most part. This thing's been running fine, so I'm not going to re-grease anything or like do any sort of stuff like that or pull out the valve or nothing. I just want to basically just get to the barrel and switch out the detent with one of my PEX pipe detents. And I've made a video on that. I saw how to do that from Sean from Less Lethal for Dummies. So I am not the first guy to do that. But yeah, it's a pretty easy fix. If you have Dremel step drill and you know how to cut things, because you can make a bunch of detents from that piece of pipe, PEX pipe that you purchase. You can probably make like a couple hundred, or I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but you could probably make like at least 100 detents. And I have like 9 feet of pipe left or something after I made mine, because I think I made like 3 or 4 of them. And they weren't good enough for me, where I'm not going to keep on trying to make it any better or whatever. Like, they work for me, so just using what I got. So I finally pulled this off. Sometimes, for some reason, my Gen 2, I'm just going to leave this oriented that way because I don't want all the screws to fall out. Sometimes, for some reason, on my Gen 2, I'll try to show this. My Gen 1's never had this problem, but on my Gen 2, this spring always wants to come loose. So there's tension on the sear right here, and it's like kind of wound up along the bottom of the body. So I just have to always be mindful of that one screw. So you can see my detent is totally effed right here. There used to be a little bit of excess hanging off the edge, but it totally got ripped. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the rubber steel balls. They're just too thick. They're too grippy, too much friction. I was using this with a high pressure tank. I still need to do some more shots with it. But I was using these pieces of shit balls right here. These rubber steels that I've always had the worst. Comparatively to like Alien Play aluminum balls, these have always performed the worst. But I have been putting a lot of shots through this detent. The PEX pipe ones, it's this pipe stuff. You just cut a piece about equal length. It doesn't have to be perfect. You have to shave off the interior on one side so that it fits on the barrel. And you have to leave one side kind of thicker so that a ball can go through. I wasn't planning on using these rubber steel balls with this pipe detent, but I've ran Alien Plays, and Alien Plays are like 12.5 millimeters. The nylon balls I'm about to show you are about 12.7 millimeters. And I'll just put that in there too. The white ones are T4E quick access balls, cheap nylon stuff. This is the Alien Play. I'll try to find one that's not all flattened sides and shit, because I shoot the crap out of those things because they're so cheap. And these other slingshot ammo, they do make 12.5 millimeter steel balls. This one person on Amazon had them for a while. They haven't had them in stock for a while also. I don't know if it's like a tariffs thing or something, or they just don't have any. But yeah, this is the Gen 2 detent. This is the Gen 1 detents. You can see these are kind of like, it's hard to see on camera, but these are kind of like clear and like a gray color. This is like straight black. But yeah, it's toast now. I knew at some point it would break. I'm glad it didn't break on me if I ever needed to use this in an emergency. But that's why I constantly use these things and see how they work and stuff. This is an 8.4 gram, 12.7 millimeter ball. It's not too hard to push through. A little bit of back pressure, but it's not super hard. I have another detent I'm going to check out. This is 12.5 millimeters. That came through pretty easily. But if you want to size this up to like the smallest round that you're using, you don't want it to fall through easily, because then you'll have problems when you pull the trigger. They're just going to fall out. This is 12.6 millimeters. A little bit snug. I may try the other detent, the other one I have over there on the edge of the screen. This is like 12.5 millimeters. Also comes through pretty easily. So I kind of have this one sized to like fit a 12.5 millimeter ball. I use different ammos in this. That's why I kind of chose the 12.5 to slide through this easily. just put that in there. So you can see there's like a little bit of a raised ridge along the inside, that red part that you can see. It butts up against the barrel. 12.7. This one's actually harder to push through, so I'm going to use the other detent. If you size them to 12.7 and you have the 12.7 ball or a 12.6 ball like this going through this really easily, the odds are it's not going to work for the smaller ones that well. Like, they could pop out really easily. So this one's actually pretty nice for the 12.5, just like the other one. But the other one that I switched out, this PEX pipe detent, the other one was easier to push this one through. To me, just with the pressure from my thumb, I could feel it was a little bit easier to push the other one out. So I'm probably going to use the other one. I have my Dremel out here and stuff today, but I'm just going to use the other one. All right, this is the first one I was trying. This is the one that was kind of snug with the heavy balls. So I'm just going to try this a couple more times. I have tried like sizing it better for the 12.7 so that it's not so hard to push through. Putting it all back together, shooting it, seeing what chrono numbers I get, making another detent fit really good for this, but then like kind of loose on this one. And every time I did that, I didn't see much of a chrono difference, like maybe like 2 or 4 FPS. So I'm fine with it working on these. I'm not going to keep switching out pipe detents just because I'm using a different ammo. And I didn't see a huge loss in speed from having it like super snug with one ammo but kind of loose with the other. Like, I tried it a few times and I didn't see any difference. And it's not like these things hit super hard anyways. If you use them the normal way, which is like on a 12 gram CO2 and stuff, the max you'll get is maybe like 27 joules or 28 joules if you have the restrictor not in there. I don't know where I cut myself, but I cut my finger somehow. So putting this back, it should fit in here. It should fit in here easily, and you pretty much just need it to fit behind this groove, and the barrel sits right there, and then the front of the barrel has a recessed area and it fits in here. So I'm just gonna line that up really quickly, and it looks, you know, nice snug fit. And I'm gonna put all these screws back, and that's all you have to do to replace your detent, as long as you didn't knock anything loose like springs and stuff in here. You should be fine. So I'm gonna tighten these down. I'll be right back. All right, you guys, detent is in. This is the magnetic catch. I've shown how to do it. I have a playlist for the HDP50 Gen 1 and Gen 2. If you just look on that playlist, you'll find the video on how to do this. This is very simple to do. I used a Gorilla Glue clear adhesive glue right here. I used to use hot glue, but it was kind of falling off. So this is a 3mm thick by 10mm across magnet. I think I got like 60 of them from Amazon for like $5 or something. So I have 60 magnets, or like 57 left or something. I have a bunch of PEX pipe left. And I'm not going to buy any more HDP50s, but I can basically make detents and magnet catches or whatever for if I know people that have one of these. The one I gave away to my friend, it's basically the same as this. PEX pipe detent magnet catch. I gave him one with a power kit, and yeah, he's having fun with it, shooting it on the weekends and stuff. He just lives in a normal neighborhood, you know, with, you know, neighbors and stuff. I'm out here on a ranch, kind of far away from people. But yeah, all these screws are in. I'm just double checking that there's no weird seams or anything, like a splitting of these two shells or inside body stuff. And it's all pretty much done. So that would have been shorter if I would not have filmed it, but since I filmed it, and yeah, all that good stuff, but it would like to put these out there in case anyone has this type of problem with whatever they're using. So I'm just checking the trigger, it's working. I put my spring back in here, follower guide is in. There's no weird bulges or weird stuff happening with any of this. So yeah, I got to shoot this probably 900 times most likely, and then it finally snapped. And I feel like it was probably from the rubber steel balls, because up until I used the rubber steel balls, it was acting normal. So these pins, they're mostly smooth, but one side has little like knurled edge or bird edge. Since I took them out facing that way, this bird edge was on the bottom. So when I put them back in, point the barrel to the left, put that bird edge up high, like up top, and then the smooth part will be going down into the rail and into where all the other pins are supposed to go. So bird edge right here, facing up, smooth side facing down, going into the trigger guard area. If you have the Gen 1, the handle pin down here and this pin right here are the same length. It's just a tiny bit shorter than the trigger one. Trigger one is on top. This one right here. Trigger one is the longest pin. Smooth side down, knurled edge on top, and then smooth side down, knurled edge on top. Barrel facing left. That's how mine was when I first got it, and I just keep putting it back together. If you have problems getting the slide one in, just kind of press down on this and slowly work the trigger, the slide pin. Work it in there slowly. Don't just go ham on it with a little hammer or a sledgehammer or something, because you'll probably just break the plastic. And all these should just knock in easily. The only one that you have to actually kind of work with is the rail one. If you do not use a rail accessory, then you don't have to worry about this one too much, but you should still knock it in. I can't just knock it in like this because I'm just hitting the top of the rail, so you need to actually have a pin or a nail or something to push this back in, like a punch. You can use like a house nail or something too, but I have this watch kit. This is for like for watches that have metal bands. You can push the pins through to resize the band. That's what I use this for. I have a couple of like nicer timepieces. I don't really like smart watches or whatever the hell those things are. I don't really like those that much. I'd rather have a mechanical watch, but I have some stuff that I like old school and some stuff that I like new school. It's just the way I am. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil in here. I had this follower kind of lock up on me during the video, so I'll have to keep oiling that. It's probably because I keep using balls and there might be a little bit dirty and getting grit and stuff in there, but this feels better. This is just like compressor oil, since it's not touching anything on, it's like petroleum based oil. Since it's not touching any seals or anything, I'm not too worried about it breaking down rubber because it's just in this follower tube. So yeah, this is ready to go. I'll probably shoot it in a different day, but I'm not going to put this as my ride along yet because I haven't tested it. So now I'm going to probably put the salt supply in my truck for now, and then I'll probably have the TR50 in the car. So yeah, don't use these in your HDP50 unless you like to replace your factory detent, or if you buy one from like some 3D printed one or something. These may ruin your 3D printed detent also, maybe. I don't know, I've never bought one. I haven't had any issues with my PEX pipe detents. They're super durable. So yeah, this now has a PEX pipe detent, just like my Gen 1, and just like my other Gen 1 that I gave away to my friend. And ever since I replaced the detent, the factory ones, with the PEX pipe one, zero issues. Always shoots. I never have like drastic FPS drops or anything like that. This bag just has a bunch of valve blocks that I removed from all the other T40 stuff that I've bought. So a couple kind of like DIY homemade CO2 restrictors that I never really saw through to the end. But yeah, that's what's in here. These are, I bought power kits for the TR50 from my local paintball store because I kind of just wanted the CO2 restrictor discs. I don't have any of those power kits anymore because I gave them away or, you know, whatever. But the firing pin for the TR50 that's in here, I have 3 of them. The threads didn't match, and that's fine because it was a cheap power kit. I only wanted the one piece from it. So I got my money's worth from those. The threads don't match, so if you try to put them in the TR50 firing pin bolt area, whatever, the bolts, you'll probably just strip the threads and then you'll be pissed. So that's it for this video. That's how you change your detent, and sorry it was 21 minutes.